Hello everyone and welcome to Integration Ninjas. In today's tutorial, we are going to cover the complete process of deploying a React app on AWS EC2 instance using Docker and GitHub Actions. Deploying applications to the cloud can be a daunting task, but with the right tools and workflows, it becomes a seamless process. We will be leveraging the power of Docker to containerize our React app, making it portable and easy to manage. Additionally, we will automate the deployment pipeline using GitHub Actions, ensuring efficiency and consistency in our deployment process. Here's a quick things like what we are going to do. First, we will Dockerize our React application, then we will push the Docker image to Docker Hub, and then we'll set up the AWS EC2 instance, and then we will write a workflow file. So same thing we are going to do here is like, first of all, we will have our workflow file and that will be triggered on a particular action. And once we see like this particular action can be run on, first we will have two jobs here in this our workflow. We'll have build job and then we'll have deploy job. In build job, we will build the Docker image of our React application, and then we will push that Docker image to Docker Hub. And once the job will be completed, then that particular event will be triggered. After that, build job will be triggered, and then we will create a runner on AWS EC2 instance. There we will run that Docker. We will pull the Docker image from the Docker Hub, and then we will run that as a container. So let's do this. How we are going to do? Let's see. First of all, I would like to set up few things here. I would like to create a EC2 instance. So let's see how you can simply go to the EC2 dashboard and you click on launch instances, and suppose I name it as reactjs-app the EC2 instance. As I will select a Ubuntu image, and I'm using this free tier eligible one, and that's it. I'm using the x64 architecture type Linux. You can select the other one also, ARM1, but I'm going to use this one. And rest of the things, I don't want to change anything here. And let's go and launch the instance. That's it. Okay, we need to generate a key pair. Okay, so you can create a key pair if you want. I will be creating one key pair, suppose test1 test key, and we'll select the key pair as RSA and .pm. Okay, you can configure this if you want to run this in your local system. You want to connect this. Okay, so we can see the successfully launched the instance as this one. We have the instance ID. So first thing, like, you can set up that key pair and configure it from your local system, but here like I'm just going to connect from this particular like browser only. So you can simply connect here and you can see the console will be open in your browser. So here, first thing, I would like to set up Docker here because we don't have Docker here. So I have already written down the steps. I will share in the chat. First of all, we need to update the required dependencies and tools that is needed. So we are going to use apt update, and once that is completed, we are going to install the Docker package. Okay, so it's very well in progress. Once that is completed, we will start the Docker with the systemctl command, and once this is completed, we will check if the with the hello world run command if it is working. Okay, we see this is coming like hello world Docker. that your installation appears to working properly. And sometimes we need to give such commands to see, because if you see docker ps, we see like dial unix, this docker.socket is not accessible, so we just like to give permission to this file. And once this is completed, we will just see with the docker ps, we can see if it is working, and we'll just enable the docker in our system, and then we can see the version. So all those things you can just check here. All right, I have written down all those commands here. So this is completed. Now I have a simple React application. We can see like how it will look like. I have this in my local. I'm going to use this particular branch, deploy to EC2, and here we can access our terminal, and we can see npm start, how it looks like. Okay, welcome to Integration Ninjas. This will look like very simple React application. It can be anything, but I will just keep things simple to understand things better. So here, now what we can do is we can write a Docker file here. We have set up the EC2. Now let's do some coding stuff. Let's create a Docker file here. We have, now what we are going to do is we are, sorry, why it's not typing. Yeah, we are going to select a base image, nodejs base image. I am currently on the node 18, so I will prefer using node alpine 3.18 image as a build. All right, we can just comment like what we are doing is step 1 is build React app, and in the second we will serve this image as a ng-inx server. So that is like used to like serve the web content of any application. So we are going to use ng-inx as well inside our docker container. Okay, so we will just define what will be the work directory. Let's give it name as /app, and what we can do, we will copy the source directory, the source file package.json, to the current directory, and then we are going to run npm install. It's pretty simple. And once this is completed, we are going to copy everything from the source directory to the destination directory, from our current directory to the /app directory. Okay, once that is completed, we are going to run npm run build command. So we are going to build our React application here. In the next step, what we are going to do is we will serve the whatever the public folder will be generated, the new folder will be generated, we are going to serve that. Okay, serve with ng-inx. Okay, so we can see like once we do npm install, what we will see here, we will have a folder named as, okay, this is having some issues here, I guess. Yeah, okay, we have done npm run install, and then we will done npm run build, then we can see the build package here. So we are going to like copy this build package inside our the current directory. Okay, so what we are going to do in the this one is we are going to use ng-inx image. Okay, so ng-inx I am going to use we can see like what is the available versions here. So we can use 1.23 Alpine. So if you want to see like the Alpine images, you can go to the browser and you can just search like node Docker images. You can just find it out here, like all the available images here. Like I'm using one of them is from this particular website only, so I just using this. Okay, so once this is completed, we are going to define our work directory inside nginx. So inside nginx we always serve the content from the user and then save and then nginx/html. So this is the default work directory for nginx. And here once we switch to this directory, I'm going to remove everything here, rm-rf star. And after that, what we will do is like we are going to copy the source, we are going to copy from the build, like this particular directory. We will have this build directory. We are going to copy the content in this nginx one. So let's do this from the build, and in the build we have /app/build directory, and we are going to copy everything in this destination directory inside our user/share/nginx/html. all right, and then we are going to expose the port 80 because nginx serves all the content on the 80 port. All right, and we are going to entry point define as nginx -g, and we'll set the daemon off because we'll run this as a single container here, single application. Daemon off. All right, we are done with this. Now we are going to write our GitHub workflow file. So we can test this as well here in our local as well, but let's write the workflow file here. Inside .github we have a workflow folder, and inside workflow folder we will have a cicd.yml. so there we are going to write our workflow file. We will name it as cicd, and when it should trigger on the push events, on push branches of current branches deploy to EC2. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is the GitHub action one, and let's just give some spaces here. We have defined this particular when we will commit everything to this branch, event will trigger and will trigger our jobs here. So we are going to define the jobs in our workflow file, which is first is build job, and build will be running on the Ubuntu latest. Runner will be Ubuntu latest provided by the GitHub. And now what we are going to do is we are going to write steps in our job, that first of all we are going to write check out the source code. All right, and we are for that we are going to use the action which is provided by GitHub, which is actions checkout version 3. Okay, and after that once the process is completed, we are going to log into Docker Hub. For that we are going to use a proper command, docker login -u and we have I'm not going to write my credentials here, so we'll just write down the steps here. I will store these details in the GitHub secret variables. So I would refer you to use the same thing. Okay, so once you go to the GitHub directory, inside your GitHub application, go to the settings tab and you click on the security and variables. You click on actions. Once you click on access, you have to set the Docker username and Docker password here. So you can just click on new repository secret and you can just type down any name and the secret. You can just create secrets like this. It's very easy. So I'm going to use this one here inside my code. It is $login-u and secrets dot docker username. All right, and once this is completed, I am okay. I need to set the passwords as well here. I have set the variable as secrets dot docker password. All right, and once this is completed, I am going to build the Docker image. Build Docker image. So for that I am going to, okay, this is not uses, this is a command, so we are going to use the run command, run keyword. Okay, so once this is completed, we are going to execute one more command, which is docker build -t and integration ninjas / reactjs -app. So this will be the repository inside my Docker Hub container. So let's log into the Docker Hub here. I have already this repository, but you can create your own repository. Like just simply click on create repository and give a repository name and select public private, and you can create this. Okay, so this is one thing, and so I'm using this already one, so I'm going to use this. And here if you see, I'm going to run this docker build -t. I'm going to create the image with this name and from this current directory. Okay, so once this image is created, I am going to publish image to Docker Hub. Once this is done, I'm going to execute another command, which is docker push, and let's copy this reactjs app. I am going to define a tag name for my image, which is latest. So you can create any tag, or you can use github.sha as a commit ID to like differentiate which is the latest one based on a particular commit. I'm going to use latest as of now only. So once this is completed, the build job, I'm going to run another job, which is deploy job. So when this job should trigger, for that I need build job to be executed first. All right, so once this build job will be completed, then only this deploy job will be processed. So when this should be executed, this will be executed on a runner. I will just create AWS EC2 on this we are going to create a self-hosted runner on AWS EC2 instance. How we are going to create? We have to go to the actions, we have to click on runners, and we'll create a new self-hosted runner. Okay, then we have Ubuntu system, so this is Linux server. So we will go to our AWS EC2 instance, and in instance we are going to create a new directory. We just follow these steps here and we'll download this binary file provided by the GitHub action. So once this is completed, we are going to extract this jar file and we are going to execute this. No, before that we need to create the runner and start the configuration. So once this is unzipped, we are going to configure our GitHub self-hosted runner. Enter the name of runner group. I will just set it as default. Enter the name of runner. What I was giving is AWS-EC2. Okay, I will give the same thing. Enter any additional label. No, I want same. Runner successfully added. And okay, the work folder will be ._work. That's all right. Now what we are going to do is we are going to execute this run command. All right, so we can see the current version is available, and once we click on this actions tab and the runners, we can see our runner is green symbol, status is available, idle, so it's active, so we can use this runner. So we are good here. Now what we are going to do, we have access to our AWS EC2 instance. With this job, we are going to pull the image uh, from Docker Hub. We are going to run another command here. We are going to use docker pull and then this image name with the latest tag. Okay, this is completed. Once this is completed, what we are going to do is we are going to delete the old container if it exists for the further process. So we are going to run another command to delete the old container. So we are going to use docker rm-f, the force delete. Let's give the container name as react container. All right, and later, like, this is a not mandatory command, like you can remove it by yourself, but it's better practice to remove if the existing container and create a new one. And now we are going to run the docker container. All right, we are going to run another command here, which is docker run. We are starting the docker container. We are going to start the docker container with the docker run and -d and -p, and we are exposing the port 3000 and the 80, because we have exposed the 80 port from the nginx, and we want the reactor we will be invoking on the 3000 port. So okay, so we are going to like expose the 3000 port, and the docker we have exposed the 3000, so our react application will run on this 3000 port. Okay, and nginx will serve on this 80 port, so we are going to use this. Okay, and let's name our container and name we have, and then we have to give the image name here. All right, I don't think latest is needed. We have just image is fine because we have already pulled the image. Yeah, that's it. I think we are good here. So let's see what we have to commit here. We have two files. Let's commit them and we'll see if there is any issue. Deploy to EC2. All right, let's see if any action is triggered or not. No, there is no action has been triggered as of now. We can see deploy to EC2. We have .github and workflow. Okay, let's see if our branch name is correct or not. Yes, it is correct. There is might be some issue actually. There is no docker file is there, cicd.yml is there. Then there should be some issue here in our workflow file, why this is not been triggered. Let's see. reactjs application and go to the doc deploy to EC2 branch. Okay, we have a silly mistake here. It should be .github and workflows here, so we can do one thing. We can rename this. It should be the GitHub and then workflows, so we can see this. We need to commit this as well. So this is just a typo mistake. So we are going to just push these changes and then see if the action is getting triggered. Sometimes silly typo mistakes can a huge blunder. So yeah, this is triggered here. We can see the two jobs here, build and the deploy. Let's see what is happening around here. So the login is completed on the Docker Hub with all secret credentials, and the Docker image build is in progress. Okay, once that is completed, the image will be published to the Docker Hub. Let's see. And one thing we need to do is we have to go to the security group here, and we need to invoke we need to edit the inbound rules, and we need to add rule and allow the custom TCP. We need to set custom TCP and allow this IP from the port 3000. Okay, save rules. This is done. Okay, so the build job is completed. Let's see the deploy job. Okay, so this is also completed. So our both jobs has been completed, so build and deploy. So let's see if our build is success or not. So see, you can see the job deploy completed with the result success. We can go to the EC2 instance and the running instance, and let's see if our code is working or not. We can go to the this public IPv address and we will open this 3000 port, and yeah, we can see our application is up and running on the AWS EC2 instance. This is very easy process. You can set up your own workflow like for a React application, and you can deploy easily on AWS EC2 instance. This was very simple process. If you like it, please share it amongst your friends, subscribe my video, and keep watching this. Have a great day ahead. Thank you everyone. Have a good day.